I'm 23 and living with my parents, living at home. I don't know why the light is really reflecting it, so it's like, actually looks quite cool, to be honest. Anyway, I wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of people my age group, I feel like there's a split between people living at home and people that have moved out. I know from my personal experience, people from my friends, so people that I know that are very similar in age, are either living at home or have moved out. And the split is quite... Well, the people I know, most people have moved... It's really difficult to say, actually. I would probably say for me, it's quite even. I feel like I know a lot of people that have stayed at home or that are currently at home, but I also know people that have moved away. So I feel like it's quite 50-50, but it's not uncommon. In general, a lot of people have moved out, I'd say. Especially when I'm speaking to people like slightly older than me as well. But I've lived basically independently or with friends before during time at university. So like for a good 4 years, I've lived quite recently away from my hometown and everything that's kind of associated with growing up and stuff. So I know how it kind of is for both sides of the coin. I do enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. I did enjoy living independently because I think I'm just an independent person. I like that independence. I really like being busy, but also being by myself as well. But I like living with friends, I really do. Living with family is good as well, but the reason why I have personally chosen to live at home at 23 years old is simply because it is there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but it's in my opinion, for me specifically, because I've got that option, it's kind of a benefit because I'm using that as an opportunity because of saving money. When I'm living at home, I don't have to pay for rent. I help around with like groceries and stuff, but I don't really have to pay for rent. And rent in London is insane. Like, it's very high. So I know what my friends pay for rent in one of the biggest cities of the world, and it's not cheap. A lot of money is spent every month on rent, and for me, I take it as a luxury, as a fortune to be able to stay at home, because I get to save that money that I would normally put towards rent into my savings instead. I basically stayed at home for the last year, approaching a half now, so nearly a year and a half. And yeah, like, it's good, of course, because I get home cooked meals, but at the same time, I would want to move, just not yet. The reason why I like staying at home is because it's good for being disciplined. It depends on what kind of person you are, but prior to me living at home, I lacked a little bit of discipline because I would kind of slip away here and there. I did lack it, but at the same time, me living at home has developed that discipline characteristic, or at least it's developing. But the counter argument to that is kind of, without the independence, certain aspects can be a bit difficult to grow, because you could say you can become complacent living at home when you don't have that responsibility of needing, or you don't really need to cook at home. I mean, I can if I wanted to, and I should probably, but I don't really need to. I can just put my effort into my craft and any other things. So even though it's a luxury, it can definitely be a negative. Just depends how you really see it. And I think we need to take kind of, there's a stigma where, like, you know, when you're living at home, obviously people think that it can be lazy, it can be like, oh, you haven't moved out yet, like, come on, what are you doing? But in reality, it really depends on how you want it to be, because you could take the lazy route. That's why I'm saying, like, even if you're living at home, just never be complacent. Always put your work in, always make sure that you take responsibility, because it can easily slip away. And because when you get into living independently, for real, by yourself, completely hands free, that's going to be a challenge, because if you don't have the experience when everything's kind of provided for, you just can't you just can't live properly, you can't live efficiently, because you just don't know how to. You're not well equipped here, you're not adapted. But there's no shame in, like, kind of living at home, I think, because genuinely speaking, if you're saving a lot of money, save a lot of money then. Or if you can use this opportunity to perfect a skill that you're wanting to perfect, then use that opportunity. I think also when it comes to living at home, it really does depend on you. That's why I don't want to give a general response. I see a lot of takes on this, and a lot of people say either live at home or don't, whereas it's very tailored. This kind of topic is really tailored towards the person. You gotta assess yourself here, because it's not a black and white answer. You could be in a good position, you know, you could stay at home and everything could be good, but then again, it could be, actually, productivity wise, it could be counterproductive to stay at home because of relationships, because of certain things. Then you got to weigh out the pros and cons and do what's kind of best for yourself. Eventually I'd definitely want to move out. I think by next year for sure I would, but because by then it would have been 2 and a bit years of just regaining myself, and then I can take the kind of next step there. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to say, living at home isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a good thing either, but it's just how you really use that time. That turns into, if you can make it productive, you can really see some really good results by just staying at home, saving money, working on yourself. But yeah, take care. I'll see you in the next video.